I just dropped you again. Hello, everyone. It's Junie. Checking back in with everybody. Hi. So, we are doing another astrology map for a missing person. This young man's name is Blayne Ferguson. He went missing in Vernon, Canada. I have included in my description bar, when you pull up the video, if you look at my description area, I've also provided this phone number here. Crime Stoppers, 1-800-222-8477. If you have any information regarding where Blayne could possibly be. The blue car is suspected involvement of his disappearance. He was seen getting physically assaulted by 4 men, getting beat practically to death. I just lost my bottle of water. Hold on. He was getting beat practically to death, and he was never seen again. Okay? So we're going to be doing the astrology. I've already done a first video. I don't know how to attach my link yet, guys. How to like pull the other video that we did. But there is another video that we just did breaking down his astrology and started to work on his map. So I'm just going to do a quick recap of what I saw on his astrology chart. Maybe go over some things that we missed. Hello, everyone. It's good to see you. Hi, Aggie. Hi, Karen. So good to see you. Hey, Missy. Okay. Okay, be safe, Missy. Remember, Missy brought this case to our attention, everyone. We wouldn't even know about Blayne if it wasn't for Missy. So I'm really happy to be working with her and trying to help find answers. Missy has also done a chart. Missy has a channel, and I've included her link. Missy Forensic Astrology. Missy has a channel, and she also broke down the charts, and she did a asteroid study. And on her asteroid study, she mapped out Swan, and in the fourth house, we have Lake show up as well. So I can't remember. I think it's in the third. I'm pretty sure it's in the womb and in the tomb. Lake shows up for in the womb and in the tomb. And we have Chiron, the wounded healer, who is a wound that never heals. And we have North Node there, which is part of your destiny for him. So, and then there's an asteroid by the name of Lake, L-A-K-E, Lake. So I think it's significant, even though these 2 signs aren't water signs necessarily. We do have a huge opposition from the sun going down to Neptune. That can be, you know, illusions, lies, drugs involved, alcohol, doing things that are illegal, and also someone being completely like they have a belief about something, because Neptune rules, I believe, it rules the 12th house. And sometimes it can be you believe wholeheartedly into something, but it might not be necessarily true. So it's the house of I believe. I believe wholeheartedly into something. It's a very spiritual house on your natal chart. But remember, we're doing true crime here, okay? So it's a little different. Hey, Brooke. Hey, Aggie. Hey, Susie Q. It's so good to see all of you. Thank you so much for being here. Hi, Karen. It's good to see you, honey. So, hold on. I lost my pencil. Okay. So, with this opposition here, I am kind of thinking that either there's an older man that's older than 28 years old that truly believes something, okay? To the point of delusion. You know, that he might not be mentally well, okay? Also, with Chiron showing up at the 18th degree, inflicting a wound that never heals in the sign of Aries, that is, you know, the 2 rams bumping heads. I think I've shown you guys enough of the Aries sign with the two rams bumping heads on a crime chart. That can mean some type of a physical head injury above the eyebrow, to the face. You know, lots of cuts and bruises over the body, scrapes and bruises, and it can mean a pretty nasty head injury. Blunt force trauma somehow as well. So, thank you, Brooke. Yep, Aries. Woo woo, Aries the Ram, head button. He shows up a lot on our crime charts. It's either Aries or Algol or Nessus or Nemesis. But usually it's Algol and Aries that kind of make a regular appearance. Those are the planets that we're looking for. Are Scorpio, which rules death. Aries and Scorpio have a deep connection. They're ancient. Scorpio is Aries, ancient. Scorpio, how do I say this? Okay, Aries is the original, okay? And at one time, Scorpio and Aries shared Mars together. So Aries and Scorpios have this kind of connection with the planet Mars. It rules kind of the same body parts as well. Scorpio more so rules the nose. You'll notice Scorpios either have like a really cute petite nose, or there's something specific about Scorpio's nose that you'll always notice. It can be like a really they're literally either blessed with like a beautiful nose, or they're blessed with something like that's stands out more on a Scorpio is their nose. So that's why there's like this deep connection with Scorpios and Aries. It's kind of weird. It's like they find each other again in the universe. And there's this deep connection of passion and desire that kind of rules them. So, you know, our open enemy is a Gemini, which means that there's more than one person involved. We know that there's more than one person involved because the police report said that 4 men were beating the crap out of him. I mean, they were practically beating him to death. I'm not exactly sure if, you know, they recorded it and they uploaded it to the internet. I think they uploaded it to TikTok and then TikTok took it down. But he may have been beaten to death in that video. I'm not sure. It didn't look good. They're very worried, you know, that he might not have made it. Okay. So, Mercury is ruling our DC line, which means that Mercury is our killer. Get you guys trying to get you a little closer. So Mercury is our killer. Right next to that, pretty interesting, we have DNA there. So that's only a 5-degree difference, which can be that they were with the victim as well. It's in the 8th house of death, which isn't the best. We also have a female here, and I kind of broke this down a little bit before, that I do feel like with the moon, you know, having a sextile there to Mars, I do feel like, I don't know, it might be kind of a competition of some sort. So I'm not sure if they were competitive about doing stuff that's illegal, doing things that are hidden, secret, possibly, you know, is this female involved? There is some energy, you know, that goes over to the moon and also to Venus. So yeah, there's just, I am curious if there is a female involved, to be completely honest with you. I'm questioning if there's a female involved because, I don't know, just some of the energy that Venus has. I mean, because Venus rules the sex organs, you know. Well, not Venus herself. Venus rules all women in general, okay? But this house rules the sex organs. And then you have Leo there, and it makes me think power, you know, ego maybe being involved. Mars with that sextile Mars and the moon having a sextile like that, I just feel like that's a competitive nature, and Mars also represents anger and murder as well. And this is relationships. It's in the sign of Libra, and Libra rules the 7th house, which is relationships. So was there some type of competition in his relationships with Venus? You know, I don't know. There's just something here. I just see a connection. I also see that this is our victim, so he's being ruled by Sagittarius. That really explains a lot about our victim, which means he's being ruled by Jupiter. So that right there is our victim. That represents our victim. So, I mean, Jupiter represents the color orange. He's got red hair. He's got orangish colored hair. Or it even can be yellow hair. So, you know, also that he might have been a threat to them for some reason. Sagittarius can, because it's ruled by Jupiter, it means that they come across bigger. Now, he was tall. He was 6 foot something. So, you know, could they have thought that he was some type of a threat, and that's why he was attacked? So that's kind of, you know, just some other things that I noticed. There is a trine from Venus to the moon here. And that just makes me think female, maybe female emotions possibly, or just, I don't know, something hidden. And when I pulled the asteroid, Juno was right here under Venus. They were conjunct, Juno and Venus, which makes me think that we probably do have some type of relationship involved here. So, you know, we don't know a lot about this boy. The other thing I noticed was the big trine with the sun, you know, up at the top of it there. And there's some important planets in crime. Uranus at the 22nd degree, that means kill or be killed. Uranus is also the planet that never, you know, all the other planets rotate around the sun on the same axis, right? On the same, like, they spin, right? On an axis. Uranus is the only one that doesn't do that. Uranus rolls around the sun, okay? So whenever Uranus is showing up on a crime chart or in like a trine like that, we need to pay attention to it, because the universe is, well, God, I think it's God. God in the universe is trying to tell us that we need to pay attention to it, because something unexpected and shocking happened to our victim, which is in a kill or be killed degree. Pluto is in this trine as well, and I'm sorry, but Pluto does represent death. It also, you know, it was still in the sign of Capricorn, so that could be death on a physical body as well. So, yeah, it just doesn't look good. And that the sun is there, so we could have, you know, self involved in death in a shocking event, the vital life force with a shocking event in a kill or be killed degree involved in death, are all involved in this trine. Or it's an older man that is kind of delusional about, he believes something, all right, that there could be an older man. So we definitely have more than one killers that are younger than 29 or younger than 28 years old here, but there might be a man older than someone that he might work with, or somebody that he knows or sees on a regular basis, an older man that for some reason I'm just getting an intuitive feeling that this older man might have money, or he might have been wealthy. I don't know where that just came from, but that just hit me. It's kind of like an intuitive feeling I just got. I don't know if that's true or not, but I don't know where that came from. So I'm just going to say it. I don't know if it's true or not. That's not showing up on the astrology. That's just something that I have intuitively feeling that this older man might have money. I don't know why. I don't even know why I'm feeling that, but I am. I know. My poor computer. Yeah, Drake, just hang out. You can hang out with us, Drake. We're using astrology to solve crime or to tell us what happened with crime. So, because Cancer is also ruling the 7th house like this, I don't want to rule out that our killers might be related. Mercury can also rule siblings. It can also rule cousins or people that you're friends with. Basically, the planets are saying this. Gemini is ruling this. So then you have to think of more than one person involved. Just like when I did Donald Trump's chart, okay? This Donald Trump's chart looks just like this. Sagittarius on the AC line and Gemini on the DC line. That's why I truly believe we have more than one shooter for Donald Trump. Don't come for my neck, but, you know, I'm not getting political, but I really do think we got more than one shooter. Okay, so for Blayne Ferguson, he kind of has a little bit of the same chart. It's kind of weird. It's very different. There's some things that are the same, but there's other things that are very different. But that we have more than one enemy to our victim, and that they're younger than 28 years old, okay? But because now I have this trine, I also have a yod pointing down here between Mars and the moon, and if you look, who does it point to? It points to Jupiter, which is the victim. So again, the finger of fate and the finger of God shows up on the chart. So, you know, a lot of astrologers don't pay attention to yods, but I do on crime charts, okay? I think yods are important on your natal chart, and I think that a yod is very important on a crime chart. Why? Because a yod is when God's finger shows up on a chart and points to something. And if you look, it makes it out right here, these little dots, and it goes straight down to Jupiter. That's a yod. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's right here. So the moon, something emotional, something hidden. I mean, I can't rule out possibly family involved, but I'm thinking more so water, possibly. Maybe something with a female. Up to Mars, which is in relationships. So emotions, anger and rage in a relationship, because there's Libra, which rules the 7th house of relationships. And at the apex of that yod is Jupiter, which is our victim, and he's in the sign of Taurus, which unfortunately when a victim shows up in Taurus, we always have to think that there's some type of price on this victim's head, that, you know, there's some type of, the finger of God is pointing to the victim in the sign of Taurus. So I always look at that as the victim has a profit and loss to him. There's either a profit for getting rid of him, or there's a loss, like profit and loss. Like they're no longer really looked at as human. They just need to deal with them in a way, right? And that there's a price on their head. There's some type of price associated with them, profit and loss. And, you know, there's all this competition, doing things illegal, doing things in secret. I would not doubt if there's some type of drug connection here and some jealousy with a female as well. Sorry, I keep messing up my computer. I'm going to have to wipe it down because it gets all smudgy. But, okay, so the trine is important to me, which, you know, has a shocking event and death with an older man. We have more than one person involved, which could be live in the neighborhood or live in neighboring towns together, have gone to school together, or know each other. The planets are clumping them together as one person, but they mean multiple people. So when you see Gemini on your DC line, you know that you have more than one person involved, okay? Does that make sense, everybody? Is everybody following along with me? How's everybody else feeling about him? Like, if you look at his picture, what do you guys feel? Like, do you feel something bad happened to him? I do. I don't think he's alive anymore. I can probably get his exact time of death, but right now I just want to start working on the charts so we're not here for 2 hours tonight, because I know it's already late. Okay, so let's start working on his chart. Hope you guys can see. Is that what you guys are psychically feeling as well? I mean, I know all of you guys have gifts, so, and I always appreciate everything that you say. So, are you guys feeling that he's gone too? In a way, like, no longer with us? Yeah. Okay. All right, so trying to remember the planets that we mapped out. So this is location astrology, and we are mapping the planets that were over his head the day that he went missing. My exact location might end up changing, okay? So we might have to redo this map in the future. I still can't narrow down the exact street that he was seen getting beaten up on, but this location here, I'm not going to zoom in on their house, but that location there in the middle is an area that the police searched soon after he went missing, okay? So let's see which planets I have done. Okay, I've done the AC line, I did the DC line, I did the IC line. Did I do the moon? I did the moon. So the fact that we have the moon and the AC line, that's important, guys. When they're like that, this waterway right here might be important. Because Lake shows up in the womb and in the tomb, and I know that it's Aries and Sagittarius are also ruling. So Sagittarius is ruling the AC. Aries is also ruling part of the in the womb and in the tomb. I'm just gonna say this because Sagittarius does rule fire. Actually, let me just tell you exactly what Jupiter rules. When Jupiter is ruling a victim, it can also represents a lot of things, okay? A lot of characteristics about our victim, but it also can rule being the black sheep of the family. It can also be blood pressure, heart, the ventricle to the heart getting stopped. It can rule daisies, dandelions, the crown jewels, digestion issues, liver, large organs. So he could have had any injuries to his liver or his larger organs. Knowing people of power. Having wealthy and rich friends. And that's interesting because I just said that when I looked at his chart earlier, and I didn't see that in this book yet. So I got all of this from this book. This book here. The Rulership book, okay? Everything that it can mean, okay? By Rex E Bills. And I left it in the description. Also left Kirsty McIntosh's book, who teaches us how to do this. And in her book, you know, you can read this, and she teaches you how to read crime charts. And then on her channel, she has done an educational video and teaches us how to map this out. Okay, so this is other things that might... I mean, it might mean nothing. It might mean absolutely nothing. But because our victim is being ruled by this, I just want to read it. Just, you know, I just want to put it out there, okay? So it also rules daisies and dandelions, crown jewels, digestion issues, liver, having larger organs fail, friends of power, rich friends, being around fruit trees, fields that have wheat growing in them, trees like maple trees and ash trees, borrowing money from someone, borrowing money from a wealthy friend, alcoholic beverages, respect and respectability, and feeling righteous. And that was just some of the little things that I noticed about a person who might be, you know, that Jupiter can represent. So, you know, Jupiter is famous for the liver, and your larger, kind of like your larger organs. Because remember, Jupiter is about expansion and growth. Okay. Just trying to remember what I check off everything that we did do already. Okay. So we mapped out the IC line. We mapped out Jupiter. The moon. So this line right here is the moon, and the AC line. The AC line rules the victim, and the moon is the second co-ruler of the victim. So I do think this line is kind of important here, and it does go out to the water. The other area that lake showed up in the womb and in the tomb, so I do think that's important as well. If we map out any lakes, I do think we should pay attention to it. But Sagittarius rules fireplaces, and Jupiter can rule fire as well. So I'm not sure if that's the case for him. That's why I always like to look at this little area down here on a crime chart, just so you guys know what I look at. I look at this. You see that? The AC line and the moon is both in fire. We have 3 signs, which rules the body, drugs, and his part of fortune, which is basically your AC line, the sun, and the moon, all in one, in water. So I would not doubt, possibly evidence was burned, and he is near a water source in earth, because it's pretty exposed to the elements, because he's pretty spread across the board. Like usually we'll pull this up and we'll see like a victim all show up in W, which is all water, or we'll see a victim all show up in earth, and like all the signs are in earth. That's when you know, that's when I'm usually like, okay, they're in the earth, or something was burned of theirs, some evidence was burned, or they could have been burned, right? So I wouldn't doubt if some evidence was burned, and that they're in earth near a water source, a big water source, okay? Because I don't know, there's this Cancer showing up on the as the open enemy. So even with Cancer showing up as the open enemy like that, I mean, we can't rule out the fact that, what if these people, okay, whoops, shit, dang it, just lost it. What if these people worked in water, or worked around the water, or what if they worked around a lake, okay? So that's another thing that I don't want to rule out, that our killers could be related, or the fact that they work around water, and that they took our victim back to a place that they had control over and felt safe. So our killers took our victim into an area that they felt safe. I'm saying that because, why? Because Cancer rules, basically your private space, your safe place, your lineage, your home and family, so they could have taken him home to somebody's home and did something, okay? Or that they have a career working around the water, something like that. Or that they took him in an environment that they felt safe to finish the job. I hope that makes sense. I just wanted to kind of do a recap before we start breaking down the map again. All right, so we need to map out Saturn, the North Node, DNA, Swan Lake. So we have a lot of planets to map out. The Sun, Uranus, Jupiter. I think we did Jupiter. Yeah, I did Jupiter. Let's do Uranus, because it's right next to it. That's 52 degrees, and see if it makes a pie. Because Uranus is the shocking, unexpected event, right? Or am I doing good? Are you guys all here? Yeah, I got my water. Thanks, Brooke. I have a bubble in my throat. And my daughter's in the background playing a video game, so that's why she's really loud. Sagittarius can also rule the knees. So Saturn basically rules the whole body. Capricorn rules the knees. Sagittarius rules like your groin and your inner thigh and the legs. It's the horse. He's the workhorse, right? You see Sagittarius, they're super strong. Sagittarians have some strong legs, but later in life they can have issues with their legs, especially up around their groin and stuff. Aries, that's why I said Aries rules the head. Cancer rules the chest. Scorpio rules the sex organs. Pisces rules the feet, which is why we've been seeing so many victims without shoes on this year, because Pisces is in Saturn. So it means we have a lot of bodies coming up in or near the water. It's going to be an ongoing theme until 2026. Yeah. She's so loud when she plays video games. That's an Aries in the other room, so she's the goddess of war. And she is no joke when she plays video games. She's very competitive. All right, so let's do Uranus. That is 52. I hope all of you are doing okay. A news report just said downtown is that address close to downtown. Oh, okay, good. Thanks, Susie Q. Thank you. Okay, awesome. I feel like this chart is going to map out something, like, just in my gut, you know, like, it's just weird. I have been getting a lot of intuitive downloads as I've been doing this chart, and I think we're still going to map something out. I really feel confident that we will. And I got to do a house blessing because I think I got to get rid of that boy I've been talking to on the spirit box. The shooter of Trump I got on a spirit box session, and he keeps showing up, and he's not the nicest boy, and he hit me in my back last night. He actually pushed me off the edge of the bed. Like, he's not a nice person. He's very angry. I need to do a house blessing. Like, in the beginning, I was trying to get as much information from this boy as I could, but I think something's wrong with him. Something's really wrong with him. My spirits want him gone. They're like, get out. They were like kicking him out of the house. He's getting really weird around my pets even. I'm not really sure what's going on, but he's not a good kid. I was trying to get as much information on him so when I do Trump's chart, I have a spirit box session to go along with it, but there's something seriously wrong with this boy. He keeps saying that he was ignored, that he had a disability, his parents ignored his disability. He has a lot of anger, like a lot of anger issues. I've never met anyone that has so much hate towards everyone and everything. So I think I need to do a house blessing. I'm getting kind of freaked out at this point. I've had a couple of spirits that come in where I'm like, they're dangerous. I think he might be dangerous. I think he's actually really strong. So I got to get rid of him. Oh, there was another thing I saw too on his chart that popped up, a black hole. So page 28. This is for the sun. Near the sun, I believe. Let me see. There is a black hole that shows up on his chart. This is kind of like the first time I've ever mapped out a black hole. Right in here. So above this area, the day that he went missing, a black hole was active on the chart. Let's see, page 28. And I mean, I think that a black hole showing up on a crime chart is like shit's lost, right? Yes, Cotton is not the nicest guy either. He's very angry at me. I try to get him to be nice, but you know, Cotton's not in a very good spot on the astrology, guys. He shows up in the first house right next to Candace and Summer. So I have a big problem with Cotton on the astrology for Summer Wells. Cotton is in a really awkward position on the astrology. And one of my spirits actually thinks that he's involved. Mike thinks that he's involved. Somehow getting Summer off that hill somehow. I don't know if he did it or he is involved in getting her removed from that hill somehow. Okay, so I mapped out the... Let's see. We're going to use Kirsty's book because she has all the fixed stars in here. So the fixed star I mapped out. Yeah, I've never mapped out a black hole before, so I thought it was interesting. Right here, 28th degree. So these right here rule that area, 26th degree, 27th degree in here. So it's called the galactic center, a vast black hole at the center of our galaxy, discovered in 1932, source of energy, motivation, aspiration, alien consciousness, crisis of faith, travel, education, philosophy, spiritual urges, single-minded dedication. And remember, this sun is opposed Neptune, which is like believing in something almost to the point of delusion, right? So this person, if this is an older man, older than 29, he believed in something. And it could have been something about drugs or doing something illegal. And so, you know, it maps out a black hole above his head. Also, solitude, good concentration, dishonor, downfall, and loss of prestige. I don't know what that word is. Esoteric and philosophical studies. So, downfall and loss has to do with it. Allie said Chad was there when Candace left Summer to be sold. Yeah, Chad shows up. I shouldn't have said that. Chad is in an awkward spot too. I'm not going to say exactly where he is, but he's in a very awkward spot as well, guys, for Summer. PG said Fred's ex implied Fred killed Cotton. I don't know. Yeah, Arnold. So I have Simpson show up next to the killer, and I have Roy show up next to Summer in the first house. I do have Arnold show up in a really weird position, and Chad show up in a really weird position. Because you try to pull up their first name and their last name, and it shows up in really weird spots. So does a couple of other names, and I'm just going to tell you 2 of them are pedophiles, okay? That are showing up in really weird spots on the charts. But I don't want to say their names. And I know they're pedophiles, but I just, you know, there's a couple of them that are in really weird spots. Worse more than others, okay? Way worse than others. All right, let's keep mapping everybody out here. So that's Uranus at 52. Yeah, I didn't want to really kind of say where Chad Arnold was, just that he's in an awkward spot. He really is. But I don't want to, like, blow him up on the internet or anything like that. I'm not saying that he did anything. He is absolutely considered innocent until proven guilty. Of course, we are going to give everyone that we've mentioned the presumption of innocence until proven guilty. But it is just weird. It's just awkward. And I have done Fred Hill. I feel like Fred Hill crossed paths with the killer that day, and he might not even know it. So I'm more interested in who Fred Hill talked to that day, that I would suspect. Fred Hill doesn't look as awkward as some of the others. Hunter doesn't look as awkward as some of the others. Jody Sue Brown, she's in an awkward spot, but again, she's on that like balance of a legal witness. Like she witnessed something and she reported it to the proper officials. She shows up kind of like that. So I'm torn on Andy and Jody Sue Brown. They don't look as bad as some of the others. And with Fred, I feel like he's more so in an awkward spot because he crossed paths probably with the people who are involved in taking Summer off that hill. I honestly kind of think there's some type of neglect between Candace and Don, and due to some kind of weird drug connection. This is just my own personal opinion, okay? As far as I'm looking at the astrology, that either there was some type of freak accident with Summer, it could have involved drugs or heat because she's exposed to heat, or it could be that there's some type of accident that happened and they got rid of her. They got rid of the evidence. Or that there's some type of drug debt because of the Neptune energy and got her off the hill that way. But somehow she got off that hill. And there's some people showing up in awkward spots that I'm questioning if they were involved of getting her off that hill somehow. But more importantly, my main two suspects are still Grandis, Don, and Candace. They're my main suspects, including the boys. I'm sorry. I think the boys saw something. Because they're showing up in Mercury. All right, let me do the black hole and the sun. 178. Yeah. So that's just my opinion about Summer. Summer showed up here the other day too. I finally found her little toys. I have these little toys that she plays with. So not involved. Cross paths, but not involved. Yeah, I don't think that he's involved. I think that he's just, because, like, he's at 8 degrees. He's at 8 degrees away from Summer and away from the killer. And I even showed Missy his, like, I gave Missy everything on Fred. Like, I gave Missy his actual date. I have Fred's date of birth. I have his time of birth. I have the city and state that he was born in. I've done a comparison chart, and I'm not going to make a video about it because I'm not going to do that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not here for clicks and views, and I don't want to destroy anybody's life using astrology, okay? So, like, I have pulled Fred's natal chart over top of Summer's crime chart. And I'm sorry, but he doesn't look as bad as Candace and Don. I mean, he doesn't look as bad as some of the others. It just looks like he knows them. Like, it's part of his friend group. And I don't think he's aware of it. I don't think that he's aware that he crossed paths with either the people who are directly involved in removing Summer off that hill, or he indirectly knows the people that are involved in Summer Wells' disappearance. Either they were all doing drugs together up there and Summer had an accident and they had to cover it up, or Summer got left in a hot car and they freaked out, they panicked and got her out of there somehow, or someone kidnapped her and took her away. Because I do have Persephone show up in the 7th house that rules the open enemy. And I mean, it just confirms to me that Summer is probably, I know we hate to say this, but you know, that Pluto has Summer and has taken her and hidden her away, okay? And that we're not going to find her. And I think that if we do find her, it's going to be in the springtime because of the story of Persephone is showing up on the astrology. I think that it will be probably after winter, and that she shows up in the springtime, because Persephone is the god of spring, the goddess of spring. Okay. So I get why you don't. Yeah. Yeah, because, I mean, like, I could really hurt somebody using astrology. You guys know that, right? Like, I don't, I'm really trying not to do that. Like, I have Jody Sue's too. I have her birthday. I have Jody Sue Brown's birthday. I have Andy Bernard's birthday. I have Fred Hill's birthday. You know, I have a couple of their actual time of births, just from research. But I don't know. I don't think I should do that. I think that would be crossing a line of some sort, you know. And I know they're all listed as suspects, but like, I don't know. I just don't feel comfortable doing it yet. Well, also because I'm still learning. You know, what if I get it wrong? Okay, guys, because like I am still learning. I'm still a student. What if I read their charts wrong and I'm wrong, and then like I indirectly accuse them of doing something that they might not have done, and then, you know, there's people that look worse than them. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. On the day Summer went missing. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. I mean, maybe one day if we get any new information, maybe I will pull up their charts, but like, I just have to respect suspects' innocence to some degree, right? Because astrology can be dangerous. I mean, I could really hurt somebody, and I don't want to do that. Does that make sense, everybody? Yeah, exactly, Karen. Yes, that's right. Some may only have been accessory before or after the fact, right? Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys. I'm glad you guys understand. Like, I kind of went off on Don Wells already, and then I felt bad about doing it. Like, I kind of pulled up his shit, and I was like, one day, because he pissed me off really bad one day, and I kind of went off on his astrology, and then I felt bad, and I was like, I probably shouldn't have done that. Like, okay, obviously we know he's addicted. Obviously we know he's a drug addict, you know, and I used his astrology and kind of exposed that about him, and then I felt bad, you know, and I know he's a suspect in his own daughter's disappearance, but at the same time, I have to be careful, right? Like, I have to be careful with Don and Candace and their astrology. But yes, Don showed up with a couple of things, like having Neptune in the first house. That's someone that's like a drug addict, someone who might lie a lot, someone who has a strong belief in something, possibly spirituality, where it gets to the point where it gets a little, it might really personally affect him because it's in the first house of self, and it's a classic drug addict, you know. But, you know, that's stuff that all of us knew. So I didn't really, I could have gone really deep on his astrology, but I didn't. I stopped. But I could have really tore him up, but I stopped. Because I can't do that, you know? Like, it's not a secret that Don Wells has problems. Like, we all know that. So, I don't know. I just got to be careful with the power of astrology. That's all. Yeah. You were amazing. That the energy was amazing. Thank you. Yeah, he's got some problems. But, you know, it's no secret. That's just the thing. Like, it isn't a secret, and then I wonder, am I, like, I'm trying to read William Lilly, and he even warns us, like, not to be careful how we break down astrology with crime, and before we start to go and accuse anyone, you know, we really need to be careful. And he tells us to be dignified, and he teaches us to be He even says, like, don't be very careful with politics. Like, try to approach politics as, you know, because I do want to break down Trump's chart, but I don't want to get political, you know, and I don't even know if that's even possible, because Trump is technically, there was a crime done, and that's what we do. We do crime, and I want to figure out his crime. I want to figure out what happened, and I've been researching it, and because technically he is a victim here, okay? There was an assault done on him. Whether you like the guy or hate the guy, I'm still looking at his astrology as a criminal astrologist. I want to know what happened. I'm very curious about it, right? So, you know, but then I read William Lilly, and he tells us, like, he warns us, like, be very careful if you do any politics, because it can really backfire on you. So, I mean, I have to do this without a political axe to grind. Just like, I need to look at Trump the man, okay? If we could just do Donald Trump's crime chart as Trump the man that is a victim in a crime, that's what I would like to do, but I don't want to go political at the same time, right? Even if that's at all possible. So I don't know, I really want to do it. I'm still trying to get everybody's feelings on it. Yeah, he does. I've showed it to, I know, God, I couldn't believe it. You guys, I mapped out. Okay, listen to me. This is how crazy I am. A couple of weeks ago, I want to say it was like 2 weeks ago, maybe, I saw that Trump had, Algol and Mars, which is a head injury, in the sign of Taurus, which rules the ear, okay, the ear and the head, okay? I looked at his natal chart 2 weeks ago, and I said, this man is going to be shot in the head while speaking at an event. And I went through his astrology, and I started to freaking map out some states. And I mapped out Pennsylvania, right in the area where the attack happened. I did it for 3 days. I did it for the 12th, the 13th, and the 14th. And I couldn't believe it. My lines went straight up through Pennsylvania and into Canada. Because I wasn't really sure. I felt like something was going to happen in public. And then I saw that he's campaigning. And I was like, I wonder if he's campaigning over in this direction. I mapped it out, just like this. I mapped out the state of Pennsylvania. So I couldn't believe, and I didn't know what I was mapping. I mapped it out 2 weeks ago, not knowing what the hell I was even mapping out. Just mapping out parts of the state of Pennsylvania. And I didn't really understand why. I mean, I took it all to Canada, but I went straight through Pennsylvania like 2 times on 2 different days. So I was like, what the hell? Taurus rules speaking. So I said to myself, he's going to be shot while speaking at an event, and he's probably going to be shot in the head or the ear or his mouth or his neck. Like any of those areas could have been shot, because that's what Taurus rules. So, yeah, I saw it, and I called Brooke, like, well, first of all, I called my family, and then my family was like, you're crazy. He has Secret Service. Like, what's wrong with you? And, Biden had Saturn following him. Like, Saturn has really been following Biden, and that's old age. Like, old age is really catching up to him. Like, he really can't hide it anymore. I mean, it's, and I'm not being political here. I'm just saying, like, there's something, he was starting to really show effects of Saturn. And then I knew he was going to get sick, and I said to Brooke 2 weeks ago, he's going to probably step down and he's going to get sick and be forced to step down. And I said that 2 weeks ago. And I honestly didn't even know that I was predicting this stuff and saying it out loud in the way that I did. And I had to go to my family and say, am I crazy now? Because, like, my family thinks I'm crazy. Because I'm sitting up here doing maps, and I'm like, something's going to happen to Trump. Probably through here, like I had Washington, D.C., Pennsylvania, You know, I had like a whole area mapped out, and my family was like, "You're obsessed. Like, you need to get a life." I'm like, "Well, I'm just saying, I see it. I see it, and it's really going to be bad. Like, something bad's going to happen." And it happened. Yeah, he was in the sign of Sagittarius, which, you know, just like this chart. Trump had the same kind of things as this chart, even the same degree, which shows up as that seagull flying in the air, 16 degrees, a seagull flying in the air, and multiple people involved. So I think that there's two shooters. I truly believe that there's two shooters. I would not doubt if we find another shooter, or there's going to be another arrest, or we're going to find communication between him and another guy that's younger than 28 years old. Okay. So let's do Mercury. Or did I do Mercury? Yeah, I did Mercury down here. So it's interesting that this is making a pie here for Blayne, because look at that. This is that sun, who I think is the older man, or it can mean two things. It can mean the victim's vital life force, or it can also mean that older man that was involved, that was opposed Neptune. And this is our open enemy to our victim. So this pie here could be where a killer lives or works or frequents. And it's near water. So I want to say that if our killers live near any water source, the police should take that pretty serious. And there's a lot of water here. Look at that. It's a lot of water. So there's water all around this area. I didn't know that Canada had this much water, guys, around it like this. I mean, I know it has Niagara Falls, duh, but you know what I'm saying. Okay, so we did Mercury. Let's do Swan Lake. Swan Lake is also in a fated degree of 29 degrees. And it also rules hilly areas. So if there's any hilly areas around here, we should also look at that as well for Swan Lake. So that's 209. Yep, like the one they're talking about on the water tower, allegedly. Oh, really? They are? Have they started to mention other people being involved now? I honestly think there's two people involved. Either we got two shooters, or we're going to find that this shooter had communication with someone else. Somebody knew what he was going to do. And I do think he confessed to his parents what he was going to do. I think his parents knew what was going on. That's just my own personal opinion looking at the charts. Because Cancer shows up like this for Trump's killer. So either family is involved with the killer, okay? So the person who attacked Trump also has family involvement. Some type of them knowing, or he went back to his house and did something with his family and then came back, something along those lines, because that shows up on Trump's chart too. So, we'll break down his chart one day, and I just want it to be Trump the man, okay? I know he's a president. I know that he's campaigning, but I just want to look at it as crime and break it apart as a crime chart, not getting political. I don't have a political axe to grind. I love all of you, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican or an independent. You are all valued and you are all loved, and all of your emotions, are valid. I understand that this is a very rough time for all of us, and I'm just going to tell you now, expect it to get even worse. Like, expect the unexpected for this whole campaign. It's going to get crazy. For the whole year. That showed up in the astrology too. I think if Biden does pass, I think it's going to be from heart failure or, large organ failure, because he has Jupiter in the 8th house of death on his natal chart. So, I don't wish death upon anybody, but if he happens to pass, it will be from old age, I think. I think ultimately his heart will stop, and he might have larger organ failure, possibly, for Biden. I really hope not, but, it's there, and old age will be part of that. All right, so we are mapping out water for swan, for a swan, but not Swan Lake. But that's interesting because when Missy mapped out Swan Lake, her mind is on water, and it's taking me straight to water. So I find that interesting for Blayne. So I'm interested in this water source too. If anyone lives near here, works near here, frequents here, goes fishing here, I would really be interested in it. That's a lot of water. I think this is the lake that she was also curious about. Kalamalka Lake. I can't really say that word, guys. It's really combobulated for me. It looks just like a whole bunch of K's to me. Kalamalka Lake. It goes right through it. Right in the middle of it. This looks like a deep lake too, guys. And with Cancer kind of being on that killer line, it can mean deep areas of water. Possibly ocean water. I wonder if any ocean water gets in this lake. No, I don't think so. But it might be very deep. That rules Cancer. Deep ponds, deep, large bodies of water, and the ocean. Okay, so that's Swan Lake, which took me to another lake, which I think is interesting. Okay, let's do DNA, which is at 155. Everybody doing okay in here? Oh, okay. Thanks, Brooke. We love you. You're on a cusp of Cancer and Leo. If someone is a cusp, does the chart show it? Yes. When you're a cusp, honey, it looks like this, Karen. Oops, shit. I gotta get rid of that. Hold on. So, a cusp, this is how you know you're a cusp. I'm gonna show you. Let's see if I see one. It's actually kind of hard to find one. Kirsty did a video explaining cusps perfectly. But I mean, I'm just gonna tell you the little bit that I know, okay? So, do you see these little lines right here, Karen? They're like little doorways, right? So your little doorway that goes into the next sign is kind of right where you want to look for your cusp, right where the little doorways cross over, okay? And to know that you're a true cusp, because if you're at 28 degrees, you're not a cusp. If you're at 29 degrees, you're not a cusp. If you're at 1 degrees, you're not a cusp, right? So each one of these has 29 little dots, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It goes all the way up to 29. Then the big line is 30, or basically 0 degrees, okay? So what you want to look for on your sun sign is if your sun sign, which that little circle is your sun, if it says 0, 0.00, or like, it depends on which chart. You can go to astro.com. I think astro.com does 0, 0, 0, right? So 0.0, right? Like, that's how you know you're at the doorway. You want to be at the doorway. That's how you know you're a true cusp. If you're at 29, then you're at a 29th degree of, like on this chart, 29 degrees of Sagittarius, or 1 degree of Capricorn. Then you're a true Capricorn. If you're at 29 degrees of Sagittarius, you're a true Sagittarius. You might feel a little bit cuspy, but you're truly not a true cusp until you're at 0 degrees. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense, what I'm saying. I hope that makes sense. So actually a cusp is kind of rare. But if you go to Kirsty's channel, she explains it much better than I can. That's who I learned it from, because I watch her to learn how to do astrology. So that's when you pull up your natal chart, look at your sun. And if your moon is on a cusp, it would be the same thing. It would be you would be at that doorway right before the sign changes into the next sign. It's at 0.0 degrees. Missy's driving. I'm sure she could probably explain it better than me, but I think that's the gist of it. Being born at a 29th degree is tough. It's a hard degree to be born at because your planet is exhausted. It's already been through some shit before it goes and passes over into the other line. It also kind of has to do with past lives or like passed over energies. It's like passed down from like past generations. You can kind of be born carrying all that shit with you. And there are people that struggle at the 29th degree. I am at a 29th degree moon, I think. It's either my I can't remember exactly. It's either my rising sign is a 29th degree or it's my moon that's a 29th degree. My sun is at a 23rd. I think my sun is at a Uranus degree. So yeah, you can be born with like just like you're born tired. You're just born exhausted, and you have to go through some shit to experience spiritual enlightenment, and it's very hard. But once that person learns how to connect and heal whatever passed down traumas are from like either family generational trauma or just stuff that gets put on us somehow, that's that degree, that 29th fated degree. It shows up in our crime charts, is a fated degree. It's not an easy degree. It's called an anaretic degree for a reason. So, and then like if you're born at the 1st degree, which is just, right through that doorway, you cross over the doorway. If you're born at the 1st degree, that's like passions, desires, and all. You're fresh. You're just born, right? Because that's when your planet is fresh and brand new and born and starting a new cycle, right? So that's kind of how those degrees kind of affect us on our natal charts, if that makes any sense. I hope that makes sense. Okay, 155. It's DNA. So this is the DNA line, which rules our victim. I'm gonna plug my thing in. You guys doing okay? Hey Virgo Tings, Tax to Knowledge Goddess. How are you, my girl? It's good to see you. How you been? Thank you. I love it when you stop by. You want to pull some tarot cards real quick and see what you get? On this guy, let me show you a picture of him. I always appreciate it when my intuitive ladies stop by. Well, everyone in this chat is pretty intuitive. Here's what he looks like, Virgo Tings. Here's his face. So he was in Canada, and he was seen on a TikTok getting beat up pretty bad. His name is Blayne Ferguson, 6 feet tall, hazel eyes, red hair. Seen with a red hoodie on and camouflage pants, black shoes. He was getting, and this car is connected to his, I'm going to say, probably death, okay? I don't have a time of death yet in the astrology, but I do think that he is under extreme pressure of dying here. But I'll probably get his time of death soon. I can probably try to confirm it. But he's near death, I'd say. And he got beat up near death. Hey, Paleo Hair Nose, how are you? No one who continues to sin has either seen him or known him. Dear children, do not let anyone lead you astray. Does what is righteous. Huh? What are you saying? Astrology is connected to God. We're doing astrology, honey. We're reading the heavens. Yeah, so he was seen, they took the video down off of TikTok, but 4 people were beating the crap out of him to near death, and his family feels that he's dead. Can you pull some cards and tell me what you get? I'm curious. If you don't mind, since you're here. Thanks, Susie Q. All right, so that's DNA. Let's do the North Node, which is in 25 degrees of Aries. So his destiny is in Aries, which does rule death. I mean, murder. It rules, like, head injuries. You know, that's part of his destiny. So that's 25 degrees. Oh, you're not near your cards? Okay. I'll probably be on for a little bit longer. Thanks, Virgo Things. I always love your cards. I pulled some tarot. Well, it wasn't tarot. I pulled some oracle cards on them. And I got the 12th house, which is, you know, Neptune energy. Unfortunately, that's got to do with drugs and doing things that are illegal and secrets and things like that. And then I got fake friends. Imagine that. I mean, considering that we saw him getting beat up. So the other oracle card was fake friends. Those are the first cards that popped out. Yeah, I'm really getting a lot of energy over in this area. I think somebody lives over here. I'd really like to know if any of those men... I think there's some men that are in custody. I'm not sure what they're doing with them yet, but I'd like to know where the hell they lived. If any of them came out this way near this lake. Be interesting. So this is the North Node. That's part of his destiny. I'm going to take it out to this little body of water here. Oh, my email? It's Juniper's Tarot and Magic at yahoo.com. Neptune is at 356, which I think is the drug connection, so I also want to do Neptune. Also rules waterways, fresh waterways. So let's see where Neptune takes us. .356 is Neptune. I think Neptune's going to take me out to the water of that Swan Lake. Which is interesting because it rules all waterways. Holy shit, it's going to take me to that big body of water. Damn, how do the planets do this? Neptune rules all waterways, and it's going to take me to a humongous water source. Watch. See, this is why I know God is tracking us down here, guys. I think when something happens to you, I think this is God's wristwatch. I really believe that. I think this is how God knows when something happens to you in the exact area that you go missing. I think this is how God keeps track of us. I cannot. How else does a planet that rules water take me straight to a huge water source? You know, like, how? Come on, that's pretty amazing, right? Like, that's God, man. That is the universe watching you in your final moments when something happens to you. Jeez, it takes me right into the middle of this lake, guys. Holy shit. I'm going to take it all the way out to this water source. It looks like a water source there. Damn, how does that happen? I know Missy's mind is going to be blown. Wow. There's a lake. It's huge, too. Look at that. And that's a planet that rules water. And it takes me to a huge water source. That's all water. I think that lake is involved somehow. It's the two water sources that you were curious about. So Neptune takes me straight to Swan Lake. And the other line takes me through this other lake that you were curious about. Kamaleka or Mekaleka High Lake Mahini Ho. No, I'm sorry. I can't say the name of this lake. Kamaleka Kalalam. I can't say it, guys. I'm sorry. My ADD and dyslexia is so bad. It looks just like a bunch of K's to me. Kamaleka Lake. Right here. And that's the sun, which is that older man. So I'm curious if any of these suspects worked around water or were familiar with this area of water. Yeah, and Neptune takes us straight to Swan Lake, which that's pretty amazing. That's crazy. Neptune goes right smack dab in the middle of Swan Lake. How amazing is that? How else does God track us? This has to be how he tracks us. The IC line, which is the root of the matter, is right next to the North Node, which rules your destiny, and then this is Neptune. So this is the IC in the North Node, and then this is Neptune, which rules the whole drugs, you know, doing things illegal, doing things in secret, Old Loop Road. So, yeah, I'll take you up closer to it so you can see Missy. I know you're driving. Just be careful driving. So that's Neptune right there. And look at our 3-mile markers. It goes right through Swan Lake. And that other lake that you were curious about down here on the sun line. There's a lot of water in this town. I didn't realize it until I started mapping it. Wesikal Road, Wesikal Road. Goes through there. And this lake here. You were curious about this lake. This is the lake that you mentioned. It's pretty crazy. Yes, be safe driving, Missy. Okay, so we should do Pluto. Pluto and Saturn. Did I already do Saturn? So Pluto and Saturn. Do you think I should map out Mars, Missy? I should probably do Mars too, because Mars does rule the whole, murder thing. So I should probably do. And Pluto rules. They're very important. So we'll do Pluto, Saturn, and Mars, and then we'll hop off. I was thinking about doing Black Moon Lilith. So Pluto, Saturn, Mars, and Black Moon Lilith. Those are the ones that are left. So Pluto is 279. Pluto rules death. It can rule where a body could be found. Or just something about his death. Something may have played a role with his death with this planet. Something involving his death, plans of his death. The people may have come from this area to plan his death, something like that. And it can be where an actual body is found. So I'm going to take it out to the water, since Lake shows up in the womb and in the tube. So I'm just going to take it straight out to the water. So 297. Where am I at? 297. I gotta delete that. I took my finger off, so I gotta redo it. $297.
You're done.
I'm almost done.
You're done.
You gotta go to bed? Okay. All right, so my husband's ready to go to bed. I'm in the bedroom. He's tired. So we will finish this up tomorrow, guys. I have to head off. I'm gonna fix this line, but it goes out to this lake here, which is connected to this waterway here. All right, guys. I will touch base with you tomorrow. We'll finish up this map, okay? All right. I love you all. Good night.